Johnny Football.
The regime.
We've heard the clamorings. Now he's out partying. Seems like a few team members stopped by. Gordon missed the walkthrough. Johnny,
Justin
late
Gilbert.
to rehab. Gilbert, another first-round pick. I mean, what should the Browns do?
Trade him.
Oh, that was fast.
Trade him.
Okay.
Trade him. Start over from scratch. Trade him and just start over from scratch. Johnny Manziel has been oblivious, absent-minded to his surroundings, and he's having very nescient type of behavior. For those that don't know, that is Marvin's big word of the day, scrolling there at the bottom. Very nescient. I just don't understand of why. Just why. Now he's causing teammates to lose out on money. Just for that, Josh Gordon deactivation caused him to be a restricted free agent this year. That means he cannot go out as an unrestricted free agent. There was red flags about him before the draft. Now the hype machine is coming in, the regime, as people are saying. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do now moving into the future? They wanted to bring in more. They were more concerned about revenue than they were about winning. Absolutely. So that's why I would have to trade him and start over from scratch.
I agree. You trade him before his trade value drops because he's doing a great job of singing himself. I mean, the fix should have been in when the fact that a man on the street told Ray Favre, the Browns organization to draft Johnny Manziel. That's what you're gonna hang your hat on. This man's begging for someone to draft him in the green room. What he did in college isn't necessarily going to translate over. We're looking at another Ryan Leaf situation.
Woo.
Someone who's trying to have fun, someone who's trying to party, who's not taking it seriously. Your other quarterbacks, they want to compare it to Russell Wilson. Look at Russell Wilson, how he conducts himself. He's trying to have fun. You've got an off season for that. At least wait for the season. I mean, you ain't going to playoffs. You ain't going to playoffs.
He could have waited one more week.
That's all it took.
One more week, but comparing on Russell Wilson, at Wisconsin, at least he ran a pro-style offense. Mm-hmm. Johnny Manziel ran like a run and shoot, always from the shotgun, and different things of that nature. And what's the culture within the Browns organization?
Exactly.
I'm glad that some of the veterans came out and said that the first two draft picks, Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel, wasted their first year. What more can you say about that? The organization needs to stop babying Johnny Manziel and let him sink or swim. Otherwise, trade up and get Mariota or Jameis Winston, one of the two.
And while you did touch on the veterans, remember, and also to toot our horns, we did say leave Brian Hoyer in there because we knew what Johnny Manziel was. Cleveland, you knew what he was. And you benched him after a game against who? The Buffalo Bills. If you look back to, I believe it was week 14 and 15, look what they did to Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ty. Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm just saying it's a good defense.
It is a good defense, but I would definitely, if I'm Brian Hoyer, I would definitely say I might have a chance. But let's toss it over to Steve. Steve, what is your input? Have the Gophers ever partied before a game before? And what would you say to him as a teammate?
Well, I can't speak to the locker room issues or locker room stuff that happens at the University of Minnesota, but I can say this, that, there are players who go out, who do things, who have to do a certain type of regime or something that they're used to every week. And my thing is, as long as you're on the field and you're producing and you're doing your job, I can care less what you're doing outside the field. So as you probably saw in the U1, the U Part 2, those guys are doing crazy stuff before games, and they still went out there and just thrashed folks. So, some people can do that. And unfortunately for Johnny Football, he hasn't had the opportunity to kind of showcase what he can do in the NFL from a long period of stint of time. I mean, he had 2 games where he just looked absolutely horrible, and it just keeps seeing him. He's putting fire to the flame as far as what he's doing off the field, doing a lot of stuff that's getting a lot of attention that shouldn't be getting attention. And Cleveland has put a lot of marbles in this basket to make him their quarterback of the future. But Johnny Football has not actually come up and arose to the situation yet. It seems like he's talking the game, but he's not walking the game right now. And I'm not saying that it's over for him. You guys are talking about trade him already and stuff like that. I don't think you should do that as of yet. I mean, obviously, he's still doing some bonehead stuff. He's a rookie. He's Johnny Football. He's been living this lifestyle for the longest, and it's going to be hard for him to change it, especially when you got LeBron James in Cleveland now, and Cleveland's supposed to be like a nice city are a hot city for athletes, you know, Johnny Football is going to try to be Johnny Football. But the thing about it is, I think the coaching situation and the players in the locker room are going to have to talk to him and say, hey, man, we understand that you have this lifestyle that you live. You know, you like to go out and have fun. You're a young kid. But at the same time, at the end of the day, we need you to produce for our team. You know, we're trying to win games. We want to make sure that we're successful on the field. So as long as you're doing your job here, we don't care what you do on the outside. But the thing is, you can't do things that affect your teammates, like get your teammate Josh Gordon suspended, your other teammate missing meetings. You know, stuff like that doesn't happen from your leadership, from your quarterbacks. So Johnny Football, take heed to that. I hope you learn a lesson throughout the rest of this off season so that next year maybe you can kind of bring yourself back together and give yourself an opportunity to play at this level. Because I believe you have some talent, but you just got to work on it, man. You just got to work on it.